Okay, so there's two problems from the homework assignment that I think are somewhat challenging, so I want to go through how I would complete those problems. You can check your answers on this. So again, I would try the problems before watching this, because again, practice problems are for practice, and so try them, and then if you need help, you can ask me or look at these examples on how to do it. Don't watch these first, because then you'll take away your learning opportunity. So if I was doing this one here, if I'm looking at the first one, the first thing I notice is that it's a net. So it's a 2D image of a 3D shape. And I notice if I fold the shape up, it's going to be a triangular prism. Because again, this is the base. This is a base. And these would be the faces or the sides basically in the middle. So you kind of fold it along this line, fold it along this line, and then you'd have your triangular prism. So I'm trying to find the formula for a triangular prism. I'm looking at surface area equals 2 capital B, which stands for the base of the area, plus capital P, which is the perimeter of the base, times the height. So 2 times the base area plus the perimeter of the base times the height. So again, the base, so both these I'm looking at the triangle part. So I'm looking at the triangle, which means the base area is half base times height of the triangle, and this would be all 3 sides added up. Okay, so if I did this, the triangle is a little bit tricky here because I have an equilateral triangle with all 8, so 8, 8, 8. Which means, if I'm doing this, it'd be 2 base area. The problem is, I do know it's half, but the B, or the base of the triangle, so look at this triangle right here, I'll kind of draw it out, each side's 8. So 8, 8, and 8. So I know the base of the triangle is 8. So that's easy, times 8, times the height of the triangle, that's the hard part. We don't actually have the height because the height would go directly from the middle of the bottom to the top, which means these would both be 4. So again, we get to do Pythagorean theorem. So I'm looking at this triangle right here. I can find the height. So it'd be 4 squared plus, this would be the side I don't know, so another leg, so B squared equals 8 squared. So 16 plus B squared equals 64. B squared would equal 58, 48, hopefully. So B would equal, I'll use my calculator for that one. And I got 6.93. So I guess it's not really the B, because that'd be confusing for the base. But that's actually the height of the figure. So this height right here is 6.93. So I go back to my formula. So it'd be 2 base area, so half base, which is the base of the base, which is 8, times the height of the base, which is 6.193. Go back to purple here. So plus the perimeter of the base. So that's a little bit easier with this particular equilateral. So it'd be 8 plus 8 plus 8. So 24. Times the height of the figure. So again, the height of the figure is the distance between the 2 bases. And we already said this triangle is a base, this triangle is a base. If I fold it all up, what's the distance between them? And it's actually 20 centimeters. Okay, so again, now I plug in the calculator. So 2 times 8 times 6.93. And that's 55.44. Plus 20 times 24 is 480. You add those together, and you end up with 535.44. So that'd be your surface area. And again, the units are squared because we're trying to find the surface area. Okay, so that's a tricky one. The triangular prisms are probably the hardest ones to do. The second problem I'm going to look at is number 13. So it tells you the surface area is 606 yards squared. It also gives you 3 of the side lengths. It tells you this one on the height here. This doesn't have to be the height. You can turn it to make different things. That's 15. This diagonal one is x, and the bottom here is 7. Okay, and it gives you the surface area. So one nice thing about this shape is we know it's a rectangular prism. So if that's a rectangular prism, we can use the shorter, it's not necessarily shorter, but the easier formula. And that is length times width, 2 length width plus 2 length height plus 2 width height. I then plug the numbers in, and like I kind of mentioned there a second, it doesn't really matter in a rectangular prism which of these three things is length, width, and height, because you can just turn the rectangle and make it different things. A lot of people probably think of this as width for this particular problem. This might be length, this might be height, but you can change it. It doesn't really matter. So equals, I know surface area is 606. 2 is 2. Length I don't know, so we'll make that x. W is 7 times 7 plus 2. The length again is x times the height 15 plus 2 times the width is 7 times the height, which is 15. And then all you're doing is just algebra again. So it'd be 606 equals 14x plus 30x plus, well, 2 times 7 is 14. 14 times 15 is 210. You then subtract the 210 to get to the other side. Use my calculator again so I don't mess up my math, but I get 396 equals, and then again these are like terms, so you can combine those to give you 44x, divide by the number in front of the x, good old algebra again, and I get, oh, a nice even number, x equals 9. So the missing side would be 9 yards. Okay, again, those are two of the harder problems. If you have other questions that come up, let me know, but hopefully that makes sense on how to do those two questions.